Hey, what's up?
Hey Slugger, I know things are tough between me and your mom right now. I just want you to know that no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you. Don't worry about the fact that I'm walking out the door with a fully packed bag. I just need to go get a carton of milk so we can eat a great breakfast in the morning. Why don't you get back to bed so that we can watch our Chinese cartoons after breakfast, huh, sport? Hey, Slugger, is that you? I know. I've been at the store forever now. COVID really made it hard to get a hold of anything, huh? Listen, kid, I really need money. So I need you to watch this video right here. Watch it twice, watch it 3 times. Here, just watch it right now. Yes, everyone, it's been a while, but we're just gonna get into this fucking video. I'm not gonna make a fake apology for being caught up in my life. I was in a slump, I didn't want to upload. I want to upload now. I've decided I want to make YouTube videos again, but I'm not doing it for my audience. I'm uploading what feels right for me, just because if I'm gonna make videos in my free time, I work a full-time job, right? They're gonna be videos that I want to make. I don't want to make videos that other people want me to make and that I don't enjoy making. It needs to be something that comes from my heart, or as you can tell by what's been going on my channel, it's just a lot of videos that people don't resonate with. Anyways, I've been watching a lot of video essays recently between the likes of Full Fat Videos and his breakdowns of my favorite Disney Plus shows, and then Blizzik talking about my favorite scene of all time. Mwah. Great video. Great scene. I decided I want to make my own video essay about things that I love watching. I love Star Wars. Well, I haven't always. I've come to the realization that I love Star Wars. No, not that Star Wars. Granted, it has been a while, right? I might love it. No, I love this Star Wars. The Mandalorian, the Clone Wars, and today's video specifically, Book of Boba Fett, are everything that I think Star Wars had lost, and ironically enough, everything that I think makes Star Wars awesome, right? I think to understand my view on Star Wars, though, you have to know what my first real exposure to it was. Yeah, of course, the movies as a kid, but my first real introduction to Star Wars was the Cartoon Network Star Wars The Clone Wars movie and subsequent show. Now, I haven't watched the micro series, but I've heard it's amazing, and I'll get to it sometime, and maybe I'll even write a video like this about it. But what did those pieces really excel at? Adding to the established universe without detracting from or contradicting it, amazing action, and cinematography that makes action feel smooth and powerful, and showing us the story instead of expo dumping it to us. Clone Wars lacked polish in its earlier seasons, but what makes it truly special is that it is so obviously a passion project that the love for the Star Wars property and its fans comes through in each and every scene, each and every idea, in every performance by actors. But today we're not talking about Clone Wars, and just needed to kind of tell you what I love about Star Wars. We're going to talk about the newest Star Wars IP, Book of Boba Fett. We're going to kick off this video, and really me talking about things, with my most insignificant observations and bits of commentary, by talking about things that annoy me with a lot of content that I don't think is present here. Now, this is definitely the most insignificant of my quarrels with this series. Fennec is older than Boba Fett, and while it has literally no bearing on the series, I felt I needed to tell you this, because whenever I learned it, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, if you go back to Bad Batch, right, another Disney Plus series set in the same continuity, you see Fennec as a grown adult, but at the same time period, Boba is a teenager. Don't know why that happens that way, but it does. Now, originally I wrote this portion of this video before Episode 3. With Episode 3's release, we understood that this is supposed to be a series of Boba building himself into a crime lord, but I don't think that knowing that makes it any better, so I'm just gonna roll with this criticism as I wrote it. I'm not super sure on how to put this, but I feel as though the Boba we see in the Tusken Raiders time era is entirely different from the Boba we see in Mos Espa. With the Tuskens, he's this force of nature, this Yakuza-style crime lord who commands respect, both of those around him and against them. But then in Mos Espa, it seems as if everything he does is out of touch, All of his decisions fail to evoke the respect that he got for and from the Tuskens, and it just seems as though the Boba we see with the Tuskens is the godfather, and then this Boba is like just starting out on his journey, when it should really be the other way around, when maybe what the series should be going for is more that Boba looks back on his mistakes that he made trying to be a slumlord or crime lord with the Tuskens, and then uses that in order to empower his decision-making in Mos Espa. Granted, this is something that could easily change, but it's still a gripe that I have with the series that I want to address. I know, I said that this video was going to be everything that makes Star Wars great, but I just need to get through what I dislike about this film. Speaking of things that I dislike, what the literal fuck was that acid trip sequence? The lizard crawled up his nose and he was on an acid trip. Is it the lizard that makes you hallucinate? If so, how? Is the lizard like crawling into your brain and making you see things? How is he doing this? Is the lizard force sensitive? Was it the powder? There is no explanation, and while, no, I can't even say that there doesn't need to be, it's just confusing, but whatever, right? This kind of leads me into the first thing that I really want to compliment about the series. It adds to the verse in a very interesting way. While we've seen multiple references to comics that are likely to make a TV show adaptation later on, what's really interesting about Book of Boba Fett is its real look into both the crime syndicates of the universe and also look at the immense and deep culture of the Tusken Raiders. While I think I'm going to do a video about the Tusken Raiders soon, I just want to go over some of the things that I think are really genuine and amazing about Book of Boba Fett's look into them. While Mando kind of set them up as, well, there's a deeper culture there, Book of Boba dusts it off and shows it to us. This idea of respect, that there's evolution within the tribe, that there's these funeral pyres that they use. Everyone goes through this journey to get their own branch, and then it's made into their weapon when they come of age, or whenever they perform the necessary trials. Even seeing Boba throw the small branch from the child Tusken Raider onto the funeral pyre was such an amazing moment. And I'm going to talk about that more in one of the later pieces of this video, but I feel like it needs to be addressed here, how rich and deep the Tusken Raider culture is, and I thank Jon Favreau so much for incorporating that into the show. Now, I do think that this is, a lot of the things that are great about the show come from an underground project that I found called Star Wars Underworld. Now, Star Wars Underworld was apparently a show that had 50 hours of script basically written that never came to be. It showed us things that I believe are in the Solo movie, like Lando losing the bet to Han Solo, and Han Solo and Chewie meeting for the first time. So I think that a lot of what we're learning in these Disney Plus shows comes from the original ideas of the script, but that's all theory. I highly recommend you look it up, Star Wars Underworld. There's a huge article on it on Wikipedia, which is the Star Wars Wiki. Thank those guys so much for giving me so much information to use for this video, but I digress. Another thing that I thought was really interesting in this kind of realm was the idea that these crime families or crime syndicates own territory. You pass, just like the sleazy crime lords that we see in movies, you have to pay for protection to go through or to do business around them, and you have to make that tribute for access to their territory. It feels right at home in Star Wars, and originally I thought that talking about that would be the longest portion of this section, but I think it's the Tusken Raider part. But let's move on to the action. Stop. Before we go any deeper into the video, I have to stop you right here. Only 47% of you are subscribed to this channel. 53% of you come to this channel, watch my videos, and don't subscribe. It's appalling, all right? So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go down there, click the subscribe button, fuck it, click the bell, enable notifications for YouTube if you want to, and join the channel and be a true fan. But we're going to keep going. Just know that subscribing, joining the channel, it means a lot to me. It's really important. It enables me to make better content, and it enables me to give you better experience. So, see you guys. Enjoy the video. In my opinion, this action is unfortunately inconsistent. The train sequence, for example, while quite good, lacked originality. It had its own merits and intrigue, but it felt incredibly similar to the scene where Mando was chasing the Jawas to get his ship parts back. I was horrified at the first fight scene. It just felt like an over-edited, choppy mess with, to be honest, piss-poor choreography. Every hit feels like it was in slow motion and the punches were like thrown underwater. At first I thought it was because Tamora Morrison was getting up in years and he didn't have what it took any longer to be doing his own fight scenes, but not only does he excel in the fight scene against the monster later in the same episode, but he also has great martial arts moments in his Tusken Raider training in the second episode. So personally, I think it's just a lazy first act. Hopefully we can just chalk it up to a scene that poorly displayed Boba as Rusty, but that's not where the poor action ends, unfortunately. The scooter race scene was really bad. We were supposed to be invested in it, but they were moving so slow. And the bad guy, the Major Domo, was really just a bitch. He didn't care if they lived, so there was no tension. He was just trying to get away. But besides these two poor action sequences, the production of the action is great. Unless we cut to a different angle for an impact or for a new bit of choreography, the camera for the most part is still, not making any unnecessary movements or cuts, letting you be immersed in the action that surrounds you, instead of being forced to piece it together after replaying what happened in your head a few times. While I don't think that the action lives up to S-tier scenes like the amazing one-cut Daredevil hallway fight, watch out for a Daredevil video in the next few months, I think it's incredibly compelling with lots of great choreography, sequencing, and takedowns, similar to its predecessor, The Mandalorian. But it's still sad to see Boba having better fight scenes in the series that doesn't have his name on it. Now, this is something that I think Star Wars is amazing at, showing us instead of telling us. Now, if you look at the myriad of shots where Star Wars is able to show emotion even through a mask, you'll know that showing can be so much more compelling to the viewer than telling them what is going on. The opening scene of this series is one of my favorites of anything I've seen in quite some time. I'm not quite sure why the first episode is so disliked. The zoom in on the empty throne of Jabba and shots of his abandoned palace to show just how big of a role Boba Fett must learn to fill instead of telling us everything, like, gorgeous. A shot of young Boba's face reflected into his father's helmet to show his goal and his motivation, all without having to tell us what happened or what will happen. We've covered all of this material before, so instead of making us hear someone talk about it for the 15th time this week, the show respects our intelligence enough to let us piece it together ourselves. This is something I desperately need more of everywhere. I don't want to hear about how Uncle Ben died again. I don't need to see the Wayne family shot in another movie. Just show me the impact on our characters in maybe a shot or two that really, really sells the past while still being in the present. And then we can move on. Look at all the comic book media and notice how all the best media doesn't try to retread the old ground, but it builds upon what you already know to create a new story. Shot composition and shot focus communicate everything we need to know without a single word needing to be spoken until the intro card appears on the screen 7 minutes in. It conveys so much emotion and so much storytelling in 7 minutes of non-verbal, basically silent film. This is good direction. This is good production. And I hope that this carries throughout every Star Wars project that we see in the near future. That unfortunately is all I have to talk about for this one, but I'm gonna be doing more videos like this, so please don't miss out, guys. I want you to like, subscribe, and if you're feeling generous, please become a member of the channel. It helps me fund my addiction to good editors like Holy Knight J, who's doing this video for me. And it really helps me amp the production quality of my videos to include intro skits like the one at the beginning. I hope you guys all have a great day. May the Force be with you.